Cordula Poletti, born 1885. Cordula Poletti was born into a line of sisters who didn't understand her. From the earliest days she was drawn towards the outer reaches of the house, the attic, the balcony, the back window touched by the branches of a pine tree. At her christening, she kicked free of the blankets bundled around her and crawled down the nave. It was impossible to swaddle Cordula long enough to name her. Cordula Poletti, circa 1896. Whenever she could, she took a Latin primer from the Biblioteca Classense and went to sit in a tree near the cemetery. In her house they called, "Cordula, Cordula!" and no one would answer. Finding Cordula's skirts discarded on the floor, her mother openly despaired of her prospects. What right-minded citizen of Ravenna would marry a girl who climbed up the trees in her underthings? Her mother called, "Cordula, Cordula!" But there was no one in the house who would answer that question. X, 1883. 2 years before the christening of Cordula, Guglielmo Canterano published his study of X, a 23-year-old Italian. In excellent health, X went whistling through the streets and kept a string of girlfriends happy. Even Canterano, who disapproved, had to admit that X was jovial and generous. X would throw a shoulder to a wheel without complaint, could make a room roar with laughter. It wasn't that. It was what X was not. X was not a willing housewife. X remained unmoved by squalling infants, would not wear skirts that swaddled the stride, had no desire to be pursued by the hot breath of young men, failed to enjoy domestic chores, and possessed none of the decorous modesty of maidenhood. Whatever X was, Canterano wrote, it was to be avoided at all costs. Thus X was locked away in an asylum, and Italian mothers were instructed to watch for signs of deviance in their daughters. Even those who had normal breasts, Canterano cautioned, might turn out to be like X, whose apparently standard genitals had not prevented the attempt, late one night, to set the family home on fire.